minor quake was felt on Thursday, January 2, magnitude 3.0, and the epicenter was close to Penline Castle in St. Thomas. Yes, the year has just started, but earthquakes seem to have no sense of time. You must know by now that January is prone to a frequency in earthquakes. Sunday will mark 10 years since Haiti was devastated by the strongest earthquake of the last decade within the region. Given our proximity, that means we must be prepared. On today's show, we hope to equip you with the necessary information so you will be prepared if a quake hits home. This is Jamaica Magazine and I am Theodore Henry. The magazine unfolds right now.
Good day, I'm Lorraine Mendez and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, January 7. Cabinet has now transitioned to a paperless system as government continues to streamline access to information across the public sector. During their first meeting of the new year on Monday, all ministers received secure laptops to facilitate the electronic upload and dissemination of confidential cabinet papers. The devices were specially procured and designed to ensure cybersecurity, durability, and easy user interface. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the system will reduce the lengthy task of printing and collating multiple cabinet submissions, as well as the cost of transporting these to each minister.
What we're doing today is an important aspect of that digital transformation, which is to finally change the business process for cabinet documents, to make them digital, to make them more accessible, and give a kind of real-time access to cabinet documents.
Prime Minister Holness says immediate benefits of the new platform include increased efficiency, accessibility, security, and cost-effectiveness. The Department of Correctional Services, DCS, has expanded its rehabilitation and capacity building program by providing scholarships for inmates and officers to access degree programs. The DCS secured the arrangement through the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding (MOU) with the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean (UCC) and Stand Up for Jamaica on Monday. Under the MOU, UCC will facilitate 5 full scholarships valued at $300,000 each per year for 2 years. This will begin on January 11. The DCS will provide the appropriately equipped lab, books, materials, and student support services, while Stand Up for Jamaica will meet the cost of non-tuition fees. 4 inmates will be allowed to sit an associate degree in business administration online at the St. Catherine Adult Correctional Center, accompanied by an approved correctional officer who is also awarded a scholarship. National Security State Minister Rudyard Spencer says the opportunity is life-changing, not just for the inmates, but also their families and wider society.
Today's signing shows that we understand the limitations and hear the cries of the offenders who face difficulties qualifying for employment opportunities because of education limitations. Therefore, we are increasing the marketability of inmates and officers by providing sustainable scholarships and grants through worthwhile partnerships.
The department's partners say the MOU is a commitment to making a difference to Jamaica's socio-economic development.
The vision is to build this scholarship program to include more eligible inmates and other correctional facilities in due course.
We are trying, through Stand Up for Jamaica, to give them all the tools so that when they go out, they don't come back.
Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says a security audit of health facilities island-wide is now underway to provide services that are tailored to the entities. Minister Tufton was speaking at the signing of contracts to provide security services for facilities in the Southeast Regional Health Authority, SERA. The health minister says a critical area being looked at is a security infrastructure that is responsive to aggressive behaviors.
I am convinced that we have to find a way, even as we deliver the specific services contained within the contracts that we sign, the ability to de-escalate aggression. Beyond serving a particular security mandate as part of our job description, we have to provide leadership to try and change the culture of our people.
Minister Tufton recommends that the security officers being deployed receive specific training for the assignment.
We kind of want the type of example that we'll see a mother with a sick child or a father with a sick child, very emotional because it's a life and death situation, maybe getting aggressive, a reflection of our society, but the situation can be calm because they go through training. So I'm really encouraging that the training be specific to the assignment.
The health minister says billions of dollars are spent yearly to provide security services across health facilities. The Companies Office of Jamaica, COJ, is encouraging persons to use the electronic business registration form EBRF kiosk to register their business or company. The COJ says the kiosk, which is at its New Kingston office, is designed to accommodate persons without internet access or a computer. Public Relations Officer at the COJ, Caenwood Ferron, says it also helps to reduce the waiting time.
It has been beneficial to them because when they come to our office, they don't have to join the line. It allows them to just go straight to the kiosk, create an account, and register their business.
According to Mr. Ferron, the COJ will also be placing additional kiosks at the Constant Spring, Spanish Town, and Montego Bay tax offices, as well as the Jamaica Business Development Corporation JBDC office in Montego Bay.
What we're trying to do with the kiosk is that we are trying to have persons go to other locations to register their business so that everybody doesn't have to come to the Companies Office of Jamaica office to register their business or their company.
The National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, says it will be increasing awareness on the benefits of composting as a means of reducing the quantity of waste being collected from households. NSWMA Executive Director Audley Gordon says the authority will be partnering with the Social Development Commission and Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA, for the undertaking. Mr. Gordon was speaking at a recent press conference by the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development.
We'll go into every household across Jamaica if needs be, the schools, the churches, everybody, to talk composting. Why? Over 70% of what we currently take to a disposal site, based on our latest garbage characterization survey, over 70% is compostable. We don't need to be carrying such a valuable material to dump off somewhere when it has such good commercial value and is very good soil nutrients.
Composting is a form of waste disposal wherein organic waste, such as food or plant material, decompose naturally under oxygen-rich conditions. The NSWMA's executive director contends that in addition to composting, Jamaicans should continue to reduce, reuse, and recycle. He further encourages persons to containerize their refuse and keep them in a secure space for collection. And finally, the NSWMA is in the process of finalizing 3 seminal regulations to bolster its mandate as regulator of solid waste management. These are the National Solid Waste Management Disposal of Solid Waste Facilities Regulations, the National Solid Waste Management Disposal of Hazardous Waste, Electronic and Electrical Regulations, and the National Solid Waste Management Public Cleansing Regulations. This news was contained in the NSWMA's 2018-2019 annual report, which was tabled in the House of Representatives recently. The regulations will remove certain categories of hazardous material from Jamaica's waste stream and establish a licensing regime for the operation of solid waste facilities. The regulations will also ensure compliance by citizens, developers, and organizers of entertainment events and prohibit wanton discarding of solid waste from public and private vehicles. They will also prohibit littering as well as the deposit of solid waste and noxious substances in watercourses. The NSWMA annual report states that all consultations have been concluded for the National Solid Waste Management Disposal of Hazardous Waste, Electronic and Electrical Regulations. Final instructions are being prepared for submission to the Office of the Parliamentary Council through the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Thanks for watching.
As we continue to look back on the year that closed the decade, today we highlight the top achievements within the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. Take a look.
Jamaica is determined to achieve economic independence and social equity.
And so in 2019, the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation made strategic moves to achieve this goal. Through a redesigned credit enhancement facility, the Development Bank of Jamaica targeted the banking and micro, small and medium enterprise sectors. The facility provides a partial loan guarantee, which allows MSMEs to access greater credit while reducing the risk for institutions to provide lending. MSMEs also benefited from the bank's Biggie program, which will give sector players access to $25 million over a 5-year period. An additional $500,000 in grants was pumped into the program by the Inter-American Development Bank.
It is going to support the development of businesses at the very base of the economy.
The bank oversaw the execution of the $200 million Social Enterprise Grant Program. Wigton Wind Farm's divestment and listing on the Jamaica Stock Exchange was also managed by the Development Bank of Jamaica. 2019 also saw the bank creating the Caribbean Alternative Investment Association to promote non-traditional investment instruments such as private equity, real estate and venture capital. That association was preceded by January's MOU to offer a certificate program in alternative investments.
Jamaica's objective is to be a jurisdiction that offers high-value business services to support local and international business.
16 items were removed from the export licenses list, reducing time and cost to export. A similar benefit was realized with 2019's introduction of the Port Communities Truck Appointment System at the ports and airports. Business name registration and reservation went online in August with the launch of the electronic business registration form. And the Jamaica Single Window and Trade took effect in November. The pilot started with the Trade Board.
Targeting the motor vehicles in particular, companies will be able to submit their application online and use the web-based platform to track the progress.
The re-engineering of business processes within the public sector resulted in a 7.8% unemployment rate, the lowest in over 3 decades. Investments facilitated by the Development Bank of Jamaica, the Exim Bank, the Jamaica Special Economic Zone Authority, and other ministry entities also helped bolster employment in 2019.
The kinds of investment that we are promoting are investments that fulfill the social contract of, yes, creating economic opportunities, but also creating economic development for people.
The business process outsourcing sector got $73.9 million in loans from the DBJ. The sector in turn has provided close to 50,000 jobs in the year. 3,000 were promised with June's groundbreaking for the $49.8 million Morant Bay Urban Center in St. Thomas.
As a government, we decided that we are not just going to focus on the development of Kingston, but we are going to develop plans for all our major townships in Jamaica.
A design was chosen for the new Houses of Parliament complex to be erected at Heroes Park. In February, the Urban Development Corporation's $1.2 billion closed Harbour Beach Park project got underway in Montego Bay, and plans for Port Royal to welcome cruise ships were bolstered with the installation of a seawalk. Ground was also broken for construction to start on the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project. Major headway was made on the Hagley Park, Mandela, Constant Spring and Ferris to Macfield Road Improvement projects. The Georges River Bridge in St. Andrew was rehabilitated at a cost of $21 million. Residents of Chesterfield in St. Mary received a new $59 million bridge. Work, meanwhile, continued on the $48 million Paradise Bridge in Westmoreland.
Access to potable water is an essential ingredient to quality of life.
In October, The National Water Commission gave residents of Southeast St. Elizabeth increased access to potable water through the Essex Valley Water Supply System. The Commission also continued its systems upgrade to communities across Clarendon and Manchester. A $160 million program to upgrade water storage was announced, with $60 million going towards a new water treatment plant at Rio Cobre. The Rural Water Supply Limited retrofitted 11 schools with rainwater harvesting systems. The agency also joined the ministry's Water IQ initiative, which saw students being trained as water monitors. Water systems were commissioned at Golden Hill in St. Andrew, Plattfield in St. Mary, and Hermitage in St. Anne. To stave off drought in the corporate area, the Water Commission trucked the commodity to residents and installed water tanks at some complexes. Work began in 2019 to replace the broken 18-inch water main along the Ferry Main Road.
My responsibility is to ensure that we advance this process.
We're putting in place all the components for a safe, sustainable, and affordable community.
The Housing Agency of Jamaica did just that when it signed a contract for the development of Catherine Estates on lands in Bernard Lodge. After signing a contract in April, the agency broke ground to build 754 housing solutions at Ryan Park in St. James. A similar agreement was reached to develop 623 units at Shooters Hill in St. Catherine, and the housing agency issued 434 titles to informal residents who have been regularized. In 2019, the Jamaica Mortgage Bank facilitated investments in 8 housing projects, totaling $1.5 billion in the corporate area.
We are going to do whatever is necessary to stimulate the market and to continue to attract developers.
Government also tabled a new housing policy which incorporates rainwater harvesting and storage, as well as other green building technologies. A ban on certain categories of single-use plastic bags and straws came into effect on January 1, 2019. Putting teeth to the ban, 16 businesses were charged for breaches in the year. A $1.3 billion Enhanced Disaster Mitigation Works program was launched in the year. Funds were used to sanitize, beautify, and rehabilitate communities. A national initiative was also launched to plant 3 million trees over a 3-year period. In 2019, a contract was signed between the ministry and Carib Cement for the disposal of tires at Riverton. The ministry provided 33 computers to the Jamaica Fire Brigade to establish a bushfire tracking system. A new S-band Doppler radar was installed at the Meteorological Service of Jamaica's facilities in Coopers Hill, St. Andrew. And the region's first GPS-enabled early warning system was mounted at Rio Cobre in St. Catherine.
Jamaica actively advocates and will continue to advocate for increased and enhanced access to climate finance from both public and private sector sources.
In 2019, the island benefited from $1.8 million in climate financing from the Green Climate Fund (GCF). $583,000 was used to create the first Caribbean green bond listing on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Another $582,000 has been used to assist the private sector in developing and implementing climate-smart strategies. And the island's first country program to streamline its engagement with the GCF was launched. Jamaica also received $16.5 million in funding from the European Union to facilitate ground truthing and boundary installation in the cockpit country. Implementation of the National Forest Management and Conservation Plan will also be covered by the grant. And a portion of a $140 million loan agreement inked with the World Bank went towards Jamaica's climate change resilience efforts.
The government's commitment and declaration still stands. There will be no mining in the area designated as the cockpit country protected area.
In 2019, the Ministry of Finance gave a $14 billion stimulus tax package. and successfully exited the IMF agreement, as the country recorded consecutive economic growth.
And we owe it to the Jamaican people to preserve these gains.
Catch the details on January 8 in Jamaica Magazine, right here on this station.
With much talk surrounding the imposed ban on certain single-use plastic bags and straws, as well as now styrofoam containers, many are hailing the policy as a measure that will help to preserve our homeland. But environmental protection goes beyond the materials we use and extends to how we manage the waste they generate.
The Palisades Strip is where a lot of the garbage that is discarded in the gullies, the streets, the drains of Kingston ends up. So there's a heavy rainfall and it floats across the harbour and it winds up on the Palisades Strip. So every year, this strip is where we're getting tons and tons of garbage. So, it's really an important site for raising awareness of what's happening in the streets of Kingston.
My incentive really is to get to a point where our behaviors are changed at the source so that plastics don't end up on the beach in the first place. So really I want to see those volumes go down because our practices have become healthier and cleaner as a people, so that throughout the year, it's not just one day we come in and clean up the beach, but throughout the year our beaches are kept clean. And if we sell in our brochures Paradise, which is basically powder white sand beaches, sunshine year round, turquoise blue waters, crystal clear as well, cascading waterfalls, those are all the things that we sell. And in any kind of service industry, you're supposed to exceed your customers' expectations. That means when your customers come and experience it, the last thing you want to do is have them see garbage on those natural blessings that we receive.
Every year, we have groups coming to us, wow, you will never guess what I found. Like they find a mannequin. Somebody told me they found an iron, and it's all like a huge surprise to some people. And, it's often the first time people are really seeing face to face where this garbage is going and what kind of garbage is in the environment. You name it. If it doesn't break down in the environment naturally, we're going to find it on International Coastal Cleanup Day.
I think it's very positive from a branding standpoint. The fact that we are so socially responsible, so environmentally responsible as a nation, I believe that's very positive for our brand for tourism.
From my perspective, I think it's actually a good thing because when you're passing the garrisons and the gullies, you see a lot of plastics in the gutter and styrofoam. So I think it's a good move.
This comes like something that I would always want. Yes, I don't believe in plastic. I believe in preserving the ozone layer. We have to reduce carbon footprint and keep Jamaica green.
We buy our bags, or more than one use bags from the supermarket. Some of them weak, but we still, use them because they're biodegradable. You understand? So I support it 100%. Just not dirty up Jamaica. We need to set a different mindset, We need to have a different mindset as it relates to Jamaica and cleaning Jamaica. If you go to other countries, developing and developed countries, they manage their trash fairly well, especially like the coastlines and the beaches and so on, because they're disciplined, right? And Jamaica need to break that mentality of they're not being watched, so just throw the garbage somewhere, somebody's going to clean it up.
Managing quite well. However, when you're hungry and need to get something in the supermarket, you have to carry it in your hand.
Well, it was hard at first. We always knew we wanted to reduce our intake of plastics, but actually having to do it, I'm not going to lie, it has been a challenge, but it's a worthwhile one. So I only use paper straws. I have my recyclable bottles, so I buy water by the 5-gallon and I go and refill it. So I try to reduce plastic as much as possible.
It was rough at first, but I've been getting accustomed to it, using the paper bags, going to the supermarket or ordering from a restaurant. But yeah, I'm glad the ban, it seems to be going quite well in a sense. People getting accustomed to seeing more paper bags being used and the place is being cleaned more.
The millennials more so than the non-millennials. So yeah, I think the millennials are more conscious of what is going on around us with the not only the oceans but the climate as well. So I think we've grown up always hearing, oh, that polar ice caps are melting and so forth and so forth. So we know of the dangers of our environments and what's happening.
On campus, we have recycling bins and so forth. So we do try to recycle, but it's not the norm. It's something that it's still taboo. So only a few people really do recycle. So you have recycling bins here and then general disposal, and you still have persons throwing plastic bottles in there. So it's something that we're still not practicing as yet, and it's important that we do.
We need to translate it from beach cleanup to not dotting up Jamaica. It's not just about cleaning up the beach, it's about managing our garbage all year round in a better way. Next year, we're hoping that we'll see an even further reduction in the amount of garbage that we're picking up because we're having the deposit refund scheme for plastic bottles coming, and the styrofoam as well will also, be out of the picture. So we're really looking forward to a day when ICC is not necessary anymore. We're not there yet, but as we take these steps as a nation, to raise awareness, to improve legislation and regulations as it relates to solid waste, we're hoping that that really does make a change.
Develop a sense of purpose that says you're not here by accident. You are here for greatness. You are here with destiny in mind. You are supposed to do something great, and you're on that pathway. There are persons who are in the departure lounge of life, at the end of their life, and they look back and they have regret because they never took time to uncover and develop a sense of purpose. Why am I here? What am I supposed to do before I leave this 7 billion people planet called Earth? What am I supposed to accomplish? Having a sense of greatness that's in you. You're talented, you have gifts and abilities. Some of you are good with numbers, some of you are good with words, some of you are good with both, some of you are artistic, creative, some of you are sports oriented, and there are many things. And you take time to discover what are you passionate about. What can I just do naturally? I can jump out of my sleep and do it easily. Speaking now to your talents and abilities, your giftings. All of these come into your sense of purpose. The things that you are to do in life as you are to impact people. When you dream, when you close your eyes, what do you see yourself doing? And knowing that the sky is the limit. Second thing I want to say quickly is that you must learn to persevere. I heard Marquis speak about perseverance. Everybody say perseverance. Sometimes we don't achieve much because we give up too easily. You have to learn, if you want good, your nose have to. Yes, man, you have to get your feelings hurt and still go on. When I was doing my PhD, boy, a man tell me, man, people seem to like you. Wayne, why don't you just leave this program and go back to your country? You have a master's. The PhD is not for you. Why don't go and make money? And that was a racist comment because I was black. I was the only black person in the program. And he was saying things that hurt me, and I didn't want him to see me offended. I left his presence, went into my room, and I cried. But I decided to continue in my effort for excellence. Are you hearing me? And so perseverance means to continue a course of action in spite of difficulty, in spite of opposition. When they fight you down, when bad mind reach you, and they're fighting you down, and they say you're not the right gender, young ladies, and they say you don't deserve to be here, don't pay no attention, press on nonetheless. And it means you also have to have the right people around you. Be careful of the company you keep. As you go through life, you're going to make mistakes. As you go through life, you may fail at something. You want people around you who can encourage you to get up again.
We've come to the end of the show. Catch us again tomorrow right here on this station. Another half hour of informative features awaits you. Until then, please send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm. You may also connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.